Welcome back to Fledgling Eagle. Have you ever set foot in China? Share something fascinating or peculiar about this intriguing country. Today we bring you a completely different perspective, a series of leaked videos from China that reveal a grim reality far removed from what we might imagine. What exactly are these truths, and why do they leave everyone who hears about them speechless? Let's dive into today's discoveries. The torture chair for critics of the Chinese government. The tiger chair is one of the most disturbing symbols of China's ongoing crackdown on dissent, a tool notorious for its use in interrogations and torture. The chair itself is a stark reminder of the government's brutal tactics for suppressing opposition and silencing critics. Lu Ha's case is particularly chilling. His only crime was expressing dissent on social media. As a result, he was subjected to harsh interrogation methods, physically restrained in the tiger chair, and forced to apologize repeatedly for his criticism. This case reveals a deeply troubling pattern of repression, where even minor expressions of opposition to the government can lead to severe punishment. Li Jun's experience further exposes the dark extent of these methods. A former real estate magnate and once one of the richest individuals in Chongqing, Li was subjected to 6 days of continuous physical and psychological torture, all in an attempt to force a confession and extort 40 million yuan from him. The use of torture in this instance highlights the disturbing intersection between punitive measures and economic exploitation, where coercion is not only used to extract confessions, but also to seize wealth. This exploitation of the legal system for financial gain points to a larger systemic issue of corruption and abuse of power within China's judicial system. These incidents are a stark reminder of the broader climate of fear in China, where freedom of expression is severely limited and digital platforms are under constant surveillance. The Chinese government's control over the media, online forums, and social networks allows for little space for criticism, and those who dare to speak out face consequences that range from harassment to imprisonment and even torture. This widespread repression of free speech is not just an isolated problem. It is part of a broader strategy to maintain absolute control over the population. International human rights organizations have denounced such practices, calling for an end to the use of torture and the restoration of basic freedoms in China. However, the government's tight grip on power makes it difficult to hold perpetrators accountable. Despite global condemnation, the persistence of these practices underscores the deep challenges in addressing human rights violations within such a controlled political system. These incidents highlight the need for stronger international pressure to push for meaningful reform, accountability, and respect for human rights in China. Hey there, where are you from? I want to know which city you're watching our video from. Please leave a comment so we don't feel lonely. A small action like this will motivate us to make more videos. Thank you and much love to you. The tragic story of a woman chained in a shed. The shocking story of a woman being found chained by the neck in a dilapidated shed quickly went viral, drawing global attention to the pervasive issues of human trafficking and gender-based violence in China. The woman, who was discovered in a state of severe neglect, had been sold multiple times, which is a grim reflection of the deeper societal problems tied to China's gender imbalance. Decades of the one-child policy, combined with a deep cultural preference for male children, has led to a significant gender disparity. Estimates suggest there are about 30 million more men than women in the country. This imbalance has created fertile ground for human trafficking, forced marriages, and a variety of exploitative practices aimed at meeting the demands of the male-dominated society. In the case of this woman, her traumatic experience highlights a much larger and deeply rooted issue. The ongoing trafficking of women, often from rural areas, is enabled by a lack of proper social safety nets, widespread poverty, and systemic gender inequality. Women in these marginalized communities are at higher risk of being exploited, either sold into marriage or subjected to sexual slavery. The viral nature of her story sparked widespread outrage across China, with citizens, NGOs, and human rights groups calling for stronger legal protections for women, stricter punishments for traffickers, and greater resources for victims. Activists argue that the Chinese government needs to address the root causes of human trafficking by promoting gender equality, enforcing laws that protect women, and ensuring that law enforcement agencies are better equipped to fight trafficking rings. Comprehensive reforms, such as improving education and expanding economic opportunities for women in rural areas, are seen as essential steps in preventing such abuses from continuing. The death row transport van. The revelation that certain transport vans in China are being used as mobile execution units has brought to light the dark undercurrents of the country's capital punishment system. These unassuming vans, which look like regular transport vehicles, are allegedly used to carry out executions via lethal injection. What makes this practice particularly disturbing is the secrecy surrounding it and the claims that the organs of executed prisoners may be harvested and sold for transplantation. Although the Chinese government has repeatedly denied these allegations, reports continue to surface, adding an unnerving layer to the country's already opaque handling of the death penalty. This mobile execution practice raises a number of serious ethical, legal, and human rights concerns. The lack of transparency in China's judicial system makes it difficult to verify claims of forced organ harvesting or ensure that due process is followed in capital punishment cases. Prisoners sentenced to death often lack the ability to challenge their sentences, and there is little to no public oversight of the legal process. Moreover, there is a growing belief that the Chinese government uses the death penalty as a tool not only for punishment, but also as a financial resource, harvesting organs from executed prisoners to meet the high demand for transplants. International watchdogs, including Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International, have condemned these practices and called for an independent investigation into the use of mobile execution vans and the allegations of organ trafficking. They argue that China must halt the practice of secretive executions, provide more transparency in its legal and penal systems, and implement a more humane approach to justice. The global community has been urging China to comply with international human rights standards and to adopt stricter regulations on capital punishment. Both of these cases, the chained woman and the mobile execution vans, underscore the critical need for systemic reforms in China. From human trafficking to the lack of legal transparency in the judicial system, these issues highlight the significant human rights violations that continue to occur under the surface, demanding international attention and a concerted effort to promote justice and accountability. The Uyghur oppression. One of the most alarming human rights issues in recent history is the plight of the Uyghur population in China. The video showing hundreds of Uyghur men with shaved heads and bound hands being transported under heavy police surveillance offers a stark glimpse into the oppressive conditions faced by this minority group. Allegedly detained in re-education camps, these individuals are subjected to forced assimilation programs with reports of torture, forced labor, and the destruction of cultural and religious heritage. International observers and human rights groups describe this as cultural genocide, aimed at erasing Uyghur identity and assimilating them into the dominant Han Chinese culture. Surveillance in the Xinjiang region, where most Uyghurs live, is among the most advanced in the world, with facial recognition technology, constant monitoring, and restrictions on religious practices. Global reactions have ranged from sanctions against Chinese officials to calls for investigations by the United Nations. However, the scale of the crisis and the Chinese government's denial of abuses pose significant challenges to international advocacy efforts. Awareness campaigns, consumer boycotts of products linked to forced labor, and political pressure remain vital in the fight for justice. Bot farms manipulating social media. The revelation of bot farms in China unveils the extent to which digital spaces are manipulated to control public opinion. Footage of thousands of phones connected to computers operating simultaneously demonstrates how these farms amplify political propaganda, suppress dissenting voices, and flood platforms with pro-government narratives. This practice is not limited to domestic issues. Bot farms have been linked to efforts to influence global opinions on topics like Hong Kong protests, Taiwan sovereignty, and China's handling of the Uyghur crisis. The sophistication of these operations undermines the authenticity of online discourse, making it increasingly difficult to discern genuine opinions from orchestrated campaigns. Social media platforms worldwide face mounting pressure to combat these manipulations. Companies have implemented measures like account verification and AI-driven monitoring, but the scale and adaptability of bot farms often outpace these efforts. This underscores the need for international cooperation to address the challenges of digital misinformation. Fake poverty for online fame. The story of a young woman who gained widespread fame by portraying a life of extreme poverty, only to later be exposed as staging her struggles, shines a harsh light on the deceptive practices of some social media influencers. In an age where online fame is increasingly tied to the sharing of personal stories, this woman's fabricated narrative of hardship earned her not only sympathy, but also significant financial support from viewers. However, this exploitation of genuine human suffering for personal gain raises serious ethical concerns. Her case is emblematic of a broader issue within the influencer economy, where the line between authenticity and entertainment often becomes blurred. In the race for likes, shares, and sponsorship deals, some influencers resort to sensationalism, fabricating or exaggerating their struggles to attract attention. This trend not only distorts reality, but also cheapens the serious issue of poverty by using it as a tool for profit. Such actions undermine the credibility of online content and can be damaging, particularly when they trivialize the real-life experiences of those who genuinely face poverty and hardship. This issue also erodes trust in digital creators, making it harder for audiences to distinguish between genuine causes and those that are being exploited for self-promotion. While many influencers work hard to raise awareness about social issues, incidents like these can overshadow those sincere efforts. Social media platforms have a critical role to play in combating this deception. They need to implement stricter regulations to ensure transparency, prevent manipulation, and hold influencers accountable for misleading their audiences. At the same time, viewers must approach sensational stories with a more critical eye. Rather than simply accepting online narratives at face value, it's essential to question the authenticity of content, especially when it revolves around sensitive subjects like poverty. By encouraging critical thinking and promoting responsible content creation, the online community can work toward fostering a more honest and ethical digital environment. The mysterious sea creature. In recent years, a bizarre and eerie video surfaced showing what appeared to be a strange sea creature washed ashore on a beach in China. With its unsettling humanoid shape and otherworldly appearance, the video quickly went viral, igniting wild theories about its origin. Some speculated it was the remains of an alien life form, while others entertained the possibility of a mutant marine species, perhaps the result of genetic mutations or environmental factors. As the video circulated online, the mystery deepened, fueling countless discussions across social media platforms and scientific forums. However, experts soon weighed in, offering a more grounded explanation. The creature was likely a rare sea sponge, which had taken on an unusual shape due to its decomposition process. While this explanation provided some clarity, it did little to diminish the fascination surrounding the creature. Despite the scientific debunking, the video continues to captivate viewers, illustrating the enduring human fascination with the unknown. The incident also highlights the role of viral media in amplifying mysteries and fueling the public's imagination, often blurring the lines between fact and fiction. For many, the image of the creature remains a symbol of the vast, unexplored mysteries that the ocean still holds. The golden-legged quail mystery. In a quieter, more rural part of Guizhou province, a strange phenomenon captured the attention of thousands. Locals and tourists alike gathered in a remote mountain area after hearing deep, roaring sounds that echoed through the hills. Many believed these sounds came from a mythical dragon, a creature often associated with Chinese folklore. Some described the noises as fierce and mysterious, stirring imaginations and sparking a frenzy of speculation about ancient legends and supernatural events. As crowds swelled in the area, authorities began investigating the source of the mysterious roars. To everyone's surprise, the source was not a dragon or some mythical beast, but rather the vocalizations of a small, unassuming bird, the golden-legged quail. During the mating season, these quails emit low, booming calls that can sound surprisingly like the roars of a large animal. The bird's unique calls, coupled with the acoustics of the mountainous landscape, created the perfect illusion of a mystical dragon's roar. The revelation brought both relief and a bit of disappointment to those who had flocked to the mountains in search of the supernatural. Yet the story also shed light on the deep connection between folklore and the natural world in China, where myths and animals often intertwine. It served as a reminder of how the power of storytelling and local traditions can shape how we interpret natural phenomena, even in the modern age. The mystery of the golden-legged quail also sparked discussions about the impact of modern technology in unraveling ancient mysteries. With the help of mobile phones and social media, people now have the ability to document, share, and investigate such phenomena like never before, often leading to more grounded explanations while still preserving the allure of the unknown. That wraps up today's episode. Which of these leaked videos shocked you the most? Was it the disturbing footage from the interrogation camps, the mysterious sea creature, or the strange sounds from the mountains? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let's discuss. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe so you won't miss out on future episodes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care and bye for now.